Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant. Today we are at the fourth lesson of our crash course in King and Pawn Endgame, and today's topic is race of pawns. It's a very important and a vast topic. I am going to cover three positions today which can be very helpful for practical purposes. We will see both pawns trying to become queen. We cannot skip this position by Richard Reti. So let's get started with it. It is white to play and white king, which is looking really badly placed against this h pawn, actually has just one way to hold the situation. So white to play and draw it is. At first, if we see, try to go towards the pawn by king h7, we see that h4, kg6, h3, king f5, h2, and the pawn simply queens. There is nothing happening over here. In these kind of race of pawn situations, it is absolutely important to try to attack the enemy pawn, and at the same time we should try to rescue our own pawn. The move king b6 is coming at once. Mostly people feel that it's an impossible task, but there is a way. White starts kg7. This diagonal route is very important. This we will cover in the next two positions also, so that the concept becomes clear. So here there are now two ways. Either black goes with the move h4 or he goes kb6. Let's look at kb6 first. After kb6, white goes king f6 threatening kg5. So kc6 blunder. Black has to play h4. Once again white goes ke5. So again if black takes kc6, then king f4 followed by kg4 and h4 would be taken. h3, king moves to d6. After h2, c7, and we see that now the queens promote simultaneously and it's a drawn game. After king f6, black plays h3, and now white has to be very careful. This time the move king e5 would fail, because when white plays c7, kb7 has to be met by king d7. So see, here comes ke6, h2, c7, and see, this is the point. h1 then c8 queens with check, and after kb7, kd7, same story. h1 queen, then c8 queen comes with a check, and the game is just drawn. Let's go to the next position now. So let's get going with the second position here. It is white to play and win. We can see that both pawns are racing and the g pawn has no hindrance. The white king itself is sitting in front of the pawn. The technique which we are going to see is very similar to the previous one. So in all these three positions I am using a similar technique, and this will emphasize on the method actually. So it will help us create a pattern recognition also. White should play the move kc5. If kc4, then the king reaches g6, b4, king f6, and the king reaches e7, d7, c7 quickly, and mutually the b and g pawns get traded. White goes kc5. Now there are two lines. One is g5, other is kg6. If black goes kg6, then b4. The move king f6 is instantly blocked by kd6. When we see after the race of pawns, g5, b5, g4, b6, g3, b7, g2, b8 queen, g1 queens, and now comes queen f8 check. And after both king g5 or g6, queen g8 check, and the g1 queen is lost. So after kc5, kg6, b4, black may try the move king f7, but even here see, first b5, ke7, kc6, forcing the black king to go down, kd8. Now instant b6 allows kc8, so very important move kb7, and now after g5, b6, g4, king simply moves to a7 without worrying about g1 queen, because g3, b7, g2, b8 queens with check, and not only that, next move after qb7 check, g2 would be taken as well. So it's clear that the move kg6 cannot help. The main variation is of course g5. In this we are going to see similar idea to the Reti position. So right now the king is in the square of the pawn. White goes b4, g4, King d4 absolutely necessary. G3 is just met by ke3. So first king goes to g5, b5. Now if king f4, then white doesn't bother, just goes b6, g3, b7, g2, b8 comes with a check here. So g3, now ke3 forced, king g4, b6, if instant g2, then kf2, kh3 and kg1 also wins. So king h3 first, b7, g2, king f2, and this is the point here. Black is compelled to play kh2, after which b8 wins with a check. And not only that, kh3 then qg3 mates, kh1 then queen h8 checkmates. So white wins in all the lines. Now let's have a look at the last position. Let's get started with the third and the final position. Since the positions are a bit difficult, I am covering only 3 positions in this chapter. It's white to play and white is looking to convert the game. We not only have a race of pawn in this position, but after the simultaneous queens appear, there is a very important theoretical position that we should try to remember. It's white to play, so white has to go with the only move kd5, which not only opens the pawn's path but also comes into the square of the h pawn. By now you must have very easily understood from the Retty's position that diagonal path is the best one. Black has to go with the move h5. The move kd3 c5 doesn't help at all. And here white should play the only correct move, king e4. After king e5, which also seems to get the king into the square of the pawn, there is a problem. This time black can play just ke3 when the race of pawns c5, h4, c6, h3, c7, h2, c8, h1 is just drawn, and after king f5, kd4 we see the pawns getting traded and a drawn game. So white goes ke4, very important move, and now black has to play accurately. The instant h4 loses on the spot after kf4. Neither kd3 c5 helps nor the move kf2 kg4 help, as ke3 c5 the white pawn simply runs away. So black goes king f2, kf4 and kg2. One more instance how a simplified looking position can go wrong. Here one of the very obvious moves is king g5, which seems to win because h pawn would be lost and king is far away from the c pawn. But yet after the move kg3, black manages both the things. One, after king takes h5, king f4, the black king simply recovers the white pawn on c5, c6, kd6 and the pawn is lost. And after c5, h4, c6, h3, c7, h2, c8, h1, it's just a drawn position. Thus after kg2, again the only move is c5. Now it looks as though the simultaneous queens will be there, and since the king is supporting the queen, what can go wrong? But after h4, c6, h3, c7, h2, c8, queen, h1, queen, a very important theoretical position arises. The king sometimes can be on e3 or sometimes on f4 with this kind of king and queen placings. And now see, we see a typical pattern here. Queen c2 check. The black king is in serious trouble now. kh3 just allows qd3. When we transpose to the next line after kg2, queen e2 check, and the other moves fail here. King h4 simply loses to queen h7 mate. King h2 allows qg3 checkmate. After king f1, which happens to be the main line, white goes qd1. In the event of kg1, we will have this same position soon. White has a stunning move. So king f1, qd1, kg2. This is the position we would have got after qd3, kh3, kg2 also. Here just that the queen is on d1. qe2 check, and the same pattern again. This time kh3 allows qg4 check, kh2 and queen g3 checkmate. So king g1 forced, and now comes kg3. This position is very famous technique from queen versus pawn on 7th rank, the case of rook pawn. In that I have discussed this. You can check out my lessons on race of pawns. There I have made detailed videos of queen versus pawn on 7th rank. Now black has no defense to queen f2, queen e1, queen d1. So best black can do is try queen f3. When queen f3 would be stalemate. So just king takes f3, kh1, ug2 and white wins. So I hope you will find something new and interesting from this race of pawns topic. Do let me know in the comments below. Thanks for your time.